I'm Tim, welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today we're looking at the Anonimo Dino Zei San Marco Landing Forces D-Day Countdown, Mod 12,000, one of 250 made 46.5mm in PVD black and stainless steel. This Anonimo is, like all of the watches featured on our YouTube channel, actual inventory available for immediate purchase and delivery on our retail website, watchyouwant.com. And if you like getting the latest news, views, and reviews of luxury watches daily, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Watch You Want Inc. Now you can see on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference. This Anonimo Dino Zei San Marco wears absolutely huge. Not overwhelming in its size so much as overwhelming in its wrist presence. Almost 47mm. Under any other circumstances but a perfect cushion case form, I could not wear this watch stylistically or ergonomically. However, I can tell you that despite the fact that my wrist is pretty much below average in size for a guy, because it's fairly average in profile, flattish across the top, oval in cross section, this watch is an ideal fit from an ergonomic standpoint. Now you can see, as big as the watch is, it doesn't stand that tall on the wrist. It's only about 15mm thick, and that's quite remarkable for something with this much mass and complication. So it can clear a relatively tight sleeve or cuff. The only possible impediment might be that outcropping, that crown at 930 on the case flank, but we'll get to its function in just a second. Now I want to emphasize, when you look at the watch from this angle, when you look at it from dead overhead, you realize that although it is in theory a 47mm watch, it doesn't wear like one. The lugs are exceptionally short, and the watch, true to its Panerai heritage, is only about as tall as it is wide, so it wears more or less like a Panerai Luminor, that is, a big watch that wears well on a smaller wrist. Now, a big part of the ergonomic success, aside from the cushion case profile, is this unbelievable Anonimo Kodiak leather calfskin strap. It's unbelievable for two reasons. First of all, it is one of the chunkiest and most substantial stitch straps I've ever seen. You can see the sheer cut of its flanks show just how thick it is, and the contrasting, somewhat simulated patina hand-stitched strap is a beautiful piece. Also remarkable in its quality of being water resistant like the watch itself. It's one of the few leather straps you'll ever encounter that features water resistance advertised from the factory. So while watches like this typically have to be put on a textile NATO or rubber strap to get wet, this exceptional and exceptionally thick Kodiak calfskin does not have to be swapped out to get wet. You're good to go. And it's retained with the highest quality hex style screw retainers, not spring pins. This watch is built like a battleship with retainers to match. It's the more expensive way to make a case. It's a little bit more cumbersome from your jeweler, but with nothing but a hex key, you can swap out straps and change the look of the watch. And with screwed in retention, you've got a lot more resilience than with a spring bar. Very tough and appropriate to the image of the timepiece. Now when I talk about this watch's Panerai heritage, I mean quite literally. This was the destination for the exodus of talent from Panerai when the company went Swiss with the Vendôme acquisition in 1997. Now, the nomenclature of the watch Dino Zei and San Marco relates directly to that heritage. Dino Zei, from 1972 to 1997, was the president and chief officer of Panerai from its military days to its early days on the civilian market as made-in-Italy watches. Dino Zei, formerly of the Italian Navy, led the company. And when the Vendôme Group, owned by Richemont, purchased Panerai in '97 and moved the company to Switzerland, Dino Zei and many of the artisans from Anonimo found their way, or from Panerai, I should say, found their way to Anonimo, and thus reconstituted the Florentine watch manufacturer using a lot of the original machinery, a lot of the original talent, and military-era designs from the Panerai military supply days. So in a very real sense, if you want a post-Vendôme Italian Panerai, you want an Anonimo. And the bottom line is, it definitely looks the part. Now you see where the Dino Zei element comes into play, because he was the honorary president of the company in his last days with Anonimo, but the San Marco element refers to the heritage of the Italian amphibious forces, started in the early days of Panerai watch manufacture as the Decima Flottiglia MAS, a sort of proto-spec war combat swimmer division of the Italian Navy. By the 1990s, amphibious warfare had evolved considerably, and first the San Marco Regiment, part of a joint forces project with Spain, later the San Marco Brigade, became sort of the modern-day successor, the amphibious warfare successor to those original Panerai-equipped Decima Flottiglia commanders. And this watch honors both the commander of the San Marco Brigade, Franco Zattoro, and Dino Zei, the honorary president of Anonimo, formerly of Panerai, as well as the military heritage of both. So this watch thematically combines a lot, but it is the substance, it is the machine that is the highlight here. Now you can see everything about this watch is built like a battleship, and it has the look of an instrument from a battleship bridge. So what do all these forces and or all of these features and nomenclature, I should say, mean for you, the end user? Well, the first thing you need to know is that the watch is a dual time, not just with an independent second time zone, and I'll move the minutes hand out of the way so you can see that better. But you can see the independent second time zone right here at 11 o'clock. Now, the watch does have hacking stop seconds for synchronization, but what I want to emphasize is this 24-hour gauge right here. You can toggle through the 24 hours to set this independently so you have a second reference, but it is the unique 7-day countdown timer that you can program right here at approximately 8 o'clock with the Dino Zei signage that represents this watch's signature complication. So 2 time zones plus the programmable 7-day countdown timer. I'm going to show you how that works. Now, it's keyed to the local time, the center hands, so watch as the hour hand passes the index at 12. And now, you can see why they call this watch the D-Day. It counts down from 7 to the red letter D. So you might have noticed that Douglas MacArthur's old Jaeger-LeCoultre Reverso recently sold at auction. Well, that's a logical watch for a commander-in-chief of invading forces. But if he needs a backup, I would suggest this Anonimo Dino Zei. Now you can use it for anything from counting down to visiting days at your kid's summer camp to an important meeting. Pretty much anytime you need a reminder of an important event. Hey, anniversary guys? The bottom line is that you've got a 7-day countdown that you can customize simply by adjusting that modular complication window right there at 8 o'clock, with D being the date of. It also has a conventional date, obviously the 24-hour second time zone, and it features a GMT plus or minus internal rotating bezel. So if you want to set the hands to Greenwich Mean Time, you can use the GMT plus or minus code for any of the 24 principal time zones of the world to get an instant read on what time it is in any time zone using the GMT plus or minus. Now that's a feature that you might be familiar with from the Rolex GMT Master and GMT Master 2, but the fact that it is adjustable by a crown and internal means that it's just that much secure, just that much easier to get a hold of when you want to rotate it precisely and set small increments, and this does allow you to offset as little as 30 minutes off of GMT. So the bottom line is flexibility of potentially a third time zone right there using the GMT bezel, and it does have a power reserve. You can see it right here at approximately 5 o'clock. That little plus minus power reserve indicator will show you, I'll get this watch back in winding mode, exactly how much of the 42-hour power reserve remains in play. So if you are counting down to D-Day, you don't run out of steam en route. Now it does have an automatic winding movement inside based on a SOPROD 9055, essentially the equivalent of an ETA 2892A2, 30 joules with modular complications for the D-Day countdown, the power reserve, and the independent second time zone. Very tough. This watch is not only robust internally thanks to that SOPROD movement, but it also features 20 ATM water resistance and a very robust PVD stainless steel case. Now, 20 ATM equates to 200 meters or about 660 feet. All of the crowns are of the screw-down variety, so this watch is good to go as soon as you screw them down thanks to the Kodiak leather strap, a unique feature in every respect. Perfect pairing for this watch with its unique amphibious forces heritage and a multiplicity of interesting backstories. This is a fantastic conversation piece, and as a true Florence-manufactured, Italian-made luxury watch, it's part of the end of a very long line that started, quite honestly, with the original modified Rolex watches equipped with the Italian Navy, modified by Panerai, built by Rolex. By the 1990s, all of that manufacturing had been brought to Florence. Sadly, by 1997, most of it had departed, with Anonimo and later Anebi the sole holdouts. Now, Anonimo today effectively no longer exists. With all of the principal fabrication moved to Switzerland, the name survives, but the Italian-crafted and Italian-finished cases and dials do not. So this is really the last of a rare breed, and one of only 250 made in any case. This unique Anonimo Dino Zei San Marco Landing Forces D-Day Countdown Mod 12,000, one of only 250 made, just might be the watch you want if you want a rare piece of history, both military history and luxury watch history. You can see it and buy it on our website, watchyouwant.com.